Former UPA Home Minister P. Chidambaram is once again in the headlines. This time he's quoted controversy with his remarks on Operation Blue Star, and the BJP is hitting back hard. P. Chidambaram said at a literally fest in Kasauli that Operation Blue Star was the wrong way to retrieve the Golden Temple, adding that Indira Gandhi paid with her life for the mistake. He also insisted that the decision cannot be blamed only on Mrs. Gandhi, claiming that it was a cumulative outcome involving the army, the police, the intelligence and the civil service. P. Chidambaram then went on to contrast this with what he called the right way that was used in later operations, where the army was kept out as a better alternative. But the Bharatiya Janata Party is reacting sharply. They are rebutting the narrative that has been put out by P. Chidambaram. They are calling P. Chidambaram's argument a proof of Congress's historic blunder. The BJP is asserting that it is completely wrong to shift the blame, and they are also saying that as Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi made the decision consciously. The BJP now is accusing the Congress party and also saying that the decision that was taken by Indira Gandhi was driven by hatred towards the Sikh community. The BJP is also claiming that it led to one of the most traumatic chapters in the country's history. We are going to play out the reactions both from P. Chidambaram and how the Bharatiya Janata Party is responding to what he said. Listen in.
There was a way to retrieve and capture all the militants. But the Blue Star was the wrong way. And I agree, Mrs. Gandhi paid with her life for that mistake. But that mistake,
and how is?
But that mistake was a cumulative decision of the army, the police, the intelligence, and the civil service. You can't blame it only on Mrs. Gandhi, would you?
That Operation Blue Star was a mistake, but you cannot blame it completely on Mrs. Gandhi. The Bharatiya Janata Party is reacting sharply to what P. Chidambaram has said. Here are the latest reactions coming in from the BJP.
P. Chidambaram का ये कहना कि ऑपरेशन ब्लू स्टार एक गलत तरीका था, ये उनकी इस ऐतिहासिक कांग्रेस की ऐतिहासिक भूल को उजागर करता है। लेकिन ये कहना कि इसमें इंदिरा गांधी अकेली जिम्मेवार नहीं थी, ये किसी भी सूरत में स्वीकार नहीं है। वो देश के प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में जिम्मेवार थी, संवैधानिक पद के ऊपर बैठे हुए के मुख्य प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में जिम्मेवार थी, और ये उनका कॉन्शियस फैसला था। ये सिखों के प्रति नफरत थी उनके मन के अंदर, जिसके चलते श्री दरबार साहब के ऊपर टैंक और तोपों से हमला करवाया गया।
My colleague Mohit is joining us as we break down the details of this controversy. P. Chidambaram, former Home Minister and former Minister in the UPA government, has made a remark on Operation Blue Star. He says Operation Blue Star was wrong, but the entire blame cannot be squarely put only on Mrs. Gandhi. The Bharatiya Janata Party says that that was a decision that the former Prime Minister, the late Prime Minister, had taken consciously, and now P. Chidambaram's remarks come as an admission of the historic blunder that was made by the Congress party. What are the latest that you're tracking from the BJP, Mohit?
Well, Sagarika, two types of answers are coming in from the BJP, and they are rather attacks. Now, BJP on one hand is saying that P. Chidambaram is trying to deflect the blame on the army too, saying that it was a cumulative blunder by the army and Indira Gandhi and by the police. But then the BJP says that decision was taken by the government to attack Darbar Sahib, and post that we saw that how Indira Gandhi was assassinated, and the BJP says that this shows that it was a historical blunder done by Congress party and accepted by P. Chidambaram that led to anti-Sikh riots all across the country, mostly in the northern part of the country. In Delhi also many Sikhs died. So this admission that has come from P. Chidambaram, the BJP says that Congress party cannot brush this particular admission aside. They need to accept the fact that yes, this was a historic blunder, and the Congress party cannot come out now and say that these are the personal opinions of P. Chidambaram. But yes, he has been a former Home Minister. He's currently a member of Parliament. He's a very senior Congress leader,
yes,
when he comes out and says that it was a blunder that was being committed by Indira Gandhi, the Congress party will have to respond. But the question over here is, he also says that it was a cumulative decision that was being taken. No, in our country, the army does not work by itself.
Yes.
Our army is a very disciplined army, and whatever the orders were being given by the government, that were followed by the army.
Right.
And the orders were given to catch Mr. Bhindranwale from Darbar. He was at Darbar Sahib, and Darbar Sahib was attacked, Akal Takht was attacked,
right.
and post that we saw that after Indira Gandhi's
So now, Mohit,
assassination.
the BJP is saying that the Congress cannot, after so many years, make attempts to whitewash the blunders during the Indira era or the mistakes that were committed during the time when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. More reactions coming in from the BJP. The Congress has also responded. We will play out both those reactions. But first up, let's listen into what Nalin Kohli of the Bharatiya Janata Party has to say. All right, Mr. Nalin Kohli, we'll also play out your reaction, but he's also with us on the phone line. Mr. Kohli, thank you for joining us. So, P. Chidambaram says that Operation Blue Star was a mistake. Indira Gandhi had to pay with her life, but it cannot be said that it was solely a decision that she had taken. It was a cumulative decision taken by forces back then, also the police and also the intelligence apparatus. How do you react to what Mr. P. Chidambaram has to say?
First of all, Mr. P. Chidambaram is one of the senior-most Congress leaders. He's held very, very important positions in several Congress governments as Home Minister, as Finance Minister, other responsibilities in the organization also. Given that background, obviously, when Mr. Chidambaram comes out with a statement related to Operation Blue Star, it has to be given some credibility. It has to be heard with seriousness, and it cannot be dismissed as a personal reaction, because he does have a lot of information and may have been part of several decisions or conversations that would indicate to what happened at that time. More importantly, the call for the armed forces is always a call taken finally by the political government of the day, and it is that political will that will either say this is the objective and then leave it to the armed forces in how they have to do, or it may also direct and say that in addition to what the armed forces feel, this is what we would like you to do and we command you to do so. Because in a democracy, and in India particularly, the supreme commander of the armed forces is the president of the country. And the government runs in the name of the president, but the chief executive of the government is the Prime Minister. So that if it's a collective decision, broadly one would believe that the references to the political entities of that day, which would have been perhaps the Cabinet Security, the Committee on Security, perhaps it may have been Mrs. Gandhi and her close advisors from the party, from the state unit, from the government, and ultimately, obviously, the armed forces and the chief of the day would have been involved in the final assessment of what are the options that are there and what are the risks to it, etc. So when he does call about that decision and says that it was a blunder, in effect, there may be something that he may be referring to. That
he also goes on to insist that that decision cannot be blamed only on Mrs. Gandhi. He also claims that it was a cumulative outcome involving the army, the police intelligence and the civil service back in the day. Then he contrasts it with what he called the right way used in later operations where the army was kept out. Can the remarks of Mr. P. Chidambaram be taken in isolation?
Nothing can be taken in isolation, but his remarks cannot be discarded either. His remarks have to be taken note of. It would certainly help in a better understanding of what was the decision-making process of that time. And the Congress party, and certainly some veterans within the party, would be appropriate to be able to add to that. So I think the onus really falls onto the Congress party.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Kohli, for joining us. And we have more breaking news coming in. Before I get in my colleague Mohit to tell us about how the Congress party is reacting, this is a new and an interesting reaction coming in from the Congress party. So after the remarks of Mr. P. Chidambaram, it seems to be Congress versus Congress. Congress's Rashid Alvi goes on to ask what is forcing P. Chidambaram to make these statements which can be perceived as attacks on the Congress party. Rashid Alvi goes on to say, why is P. Chidambaram attacking Indira Gandhi and talking about the steps that she has taken? Why is he speaking for the BJP? That's the latest reaction from the Congress party. Let's play out that soundbite by Rashid Alvi.
ब्लू स्टार ऑपरेशन सही था या गलत था एक अलहदा चीज है, लेकिन आज 50 साल के बाद चिदम्बरम साहब की क्या मजबूरी है कि वो एक एक करके कांग्रेस के ऊपर हमले कर रहे हैं, इंदिरा गांधी पे हमला कर रहे हैं कि इंदिरा गांधी ने गलत कदम उठाया है। ये तो वही काम कर रहे हैं जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी और प्रधानमंत्री करते। जवाहरलाल ने गलत काम किया, पंडित नेहरू ने, इंदिरा गांधी ने गलत काम किया। दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है चिदम्बरम साहब के एक बार फिर कांग्रेस पे हमला करने से बहुत सारे शक और शुभात पैदा हो रहे हैं।
So the Congress party seems to be going after P. Chidambaram. Rashid Alvi of the Congress party says, seems like P. Chidambaram is acting like the BJP. Why is he attacking Mrs. Indira Gandhi? Why is P. Chidambaram saying that the decision taken by Indira Gandhi back in the day was a wrong decision? Let me go across to Mohit as he tracks all the latest developments. Mohit, we showed you the reactions from the BJP. We are also tracking the reactions from the Congress party. In the latest, Congress leaders are saying P. Chidambaram is doing what the BJP does, attack the Congress party, rake up things of the past.
Well, in fact, you see, that is the SOP that Congress always follow. If a leader comes out and speaks about the mistakes that have been done by the Congress party in the past, this is how the Congress party usually reacts. But Sagarika, interestingly, the BJP is saying that the Congress party cannot brush away the statement that has come in from P. Chidambaram. And when P. Chidambaram says that it was a cumulative mistake that was being done, and he has blamed the political leadership, also the army and the police, P. Chidambaram also, and the BJP also attacks P. Chidambaram, saying that the army or the police or the civil services, they cannot be blamed for what the government did. Prime Minister took a decision to attack Darbar Sahib, and post that we saw that how Indira Gandhi was assassinated, and there was massive anti-Sikh riots in the country. So the BJP says that there is an admission coming in from P. Chidambaram that yes, the Congress party was responsible for anti-Sikh riots because Darbar Sahib was attacked, Akal Takht was hurt. So clearly what we know as of now is a massive political war over this, while the very Congress leaders have come out and they have raised questions on P. Chidambaram, saying that he's towing the line of the BJP.
Yes.
And in past
so
two, when P. Chidambaram spoke
only
about
an admission of a historical blunder, or is this also a bit to divide the blame? To say that no, it wasn't just Mrs. Indira Gandhi's decision. The political war of words is blowing up. The Congress is slamming P. Chidambaram in its latest reaction. We are going to keep a close watch on that story, but with that, it's time for us to take a short commercial break.